As we've alluded to, it's been a journey kind of working on the book. It's taken us a long time. So when we first started we first started talking about it back when I was in school with Quinn together.
Yeah.
We were doing character designs, back in 2004, 2005. And we initially pitched the story back in 2008 or 9, I think at a convention in Chicago. We did a little pitch book, we put our little ash can together, took it up to the convention, and showed it around, and actually got some interest. And had some good conversations with people. And we realized that there's actually something to the story where there's legs and there's a professional look to it. But we knew that we could have just sold the property off with a small little ash can. We had to put more time and effort into it. So we kind of went back to work and worked on it a bit longer. And that's when we launched the podcast. We talked about the project, how it was coming along, and we just started building up a bit of a following, I guess, in people who are interested in that. And we got a bit more of issue 1 done, especially, and then we launched the Kickstarter eventually in 2012. So between all the backing of the podcast and with people we've met over the years, and by then I'd worked on G.I. Joe for about 3 years on a regular basis as a regular artist. At that point, I had done a little bit of work for Marvel, and so there was some people who are at least familiar with some of my work, so that helped. And we had a pretty successful Kickstarter. Now, back then, Kickstarter was still incredibly new as a comics platform, and we learned a lot from that. The whole process, again, if we could go back and do things differently, we certainly would have.
So here's a couple pointers.
Exactly.
For you guys, like you said, you kickstarted this with Kickstarter. So that gave you guys the capital to get it going. What was your experience with that like? Was that an easy to manage process?
No,
were there challenges you didn't think about that went along with that?
Well, and again, it's evolved since then. So again, if we were to do it now, I'm curious how different it would be. But it was a roller coaster, absolutely, like an emotional roller coaster, physical roller coaster, because you're just energy wise. Because it's when you're in the campaign, you're like, please love me, and then when someone drops out, you're like, oh no, and just all the this is the dream that we have. Are we getting enough support? What more can we do? Plus we both have full-time jobs. On top of that, so we're like, okay, trying to manage all these things. And so but then of course, just finishing the campaign or funding it was just the very beginning of the whole saga. And so over the next several years, it was just the constant challenge was getting artwork done in between all the other responsibilities that we had, dealing with all the other challenges. Always keeping our backers in mind and knowing that they had been waiting, and they're being very, very patient and wanting to honor that. And then also to just make it as high of quality as we always wanted it to be, and not just crapping something out to get it out there, And when
you heard the Quinn promise right here.
Which we could have done. And sometimes that's what happens with books or movies or whatever. It's like, well, you know what, forget it, and they just put it out as is, and then it just and it just isn't good. It's not enjoyable for the fans.